Thanks for logging into another episode of the Immigrant Podcast. I'm your boy Nikolai Hill. Appreciate you taking the time out to be with us here today. I'm not in a somber mood or anything, so I don't know why I started the podcast so blasé today. It's actually been a good week. Great 4th of July weekend. Lots of family and fun activities, and the best part is, we got all types of sports activities going on. And, that's what I'm more passionate about. That's what I love most. I've been diving away from a lot of the political conversations, and we here at the Immigrant Podcast is myself and people who are contributors. We've decided to make our show fun, and for right now, current affairs, entertainment, and sports is what we're gonna focus on for at least the foreseeable future. And we'll let you know when things change, obviously. But I've been watching the FIFA Club World Cup. That's been amazing. We've done a show on that. The big thing that just got done yesterday, and this happened yesterday, was the conclusion of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And, of course, we got another finals between the United States and Mexico. It was a riveting game, sold-out game. Game was played in Houston. Great venue and a great environment for the game of soccer in the United States. And once again, Mexico came out the winners. I say once again. I'm not being backhanded in any way to the U.S. National team or head coach Mauricio Pochettino, because for the most part, more or less, he went in there with a B team. And some of those players, i.e. Diego Luna and the goalkeeper, Matt Reese, I think his name was, they performed well. I've got to highlight one of the young Mexican players that made his debut in this tournament, young 16-year-old named Mora, and he was fantastic. And the youth movement for soccer has gone through an amazing time the last few years. We're talking about Lamal. We're talking about, other guys, young players in Europe. We just seen a young man from Palmeiras who will be making his way to the English Premier League. So lots of good young players out there. And Mora, the number 7, had a fantastic tournament. Started the games, didn't look like he was out of place at all. And he has a bright future, and he definitely helped Mexico raise the trophy. So congratulations to them. And, it's only big and bigger things for that young man going forward. As an Arsenal fan, though, probably this is why I decided to talk a little bit more soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, today. The transfer window for all clubs, throughout the world is open, but specifically this is a European-based window where the teams are in off season, and for the most part, apart from the 4 teams that are left in the Club World Cup, the teams are in an off season, and the movements from players around Europe, especially with the influx of high-priced talent going into England, the English Premier League, has been chief above all soccer news. And it's the quality of players that have been going on the move that has definitely, raised the profile of this transfer window. So coming from a Manchester City perspective, they did their business earlier in the window, signing a lot of players like Churchy and other players early in the window. Of course, they got a young player last year before the season was over, Marmouche, and he performed fantastically during the season. He's gone through a spell, during the Club World Cup and prior, not scoring goals, but that's why they have Erling Haaland in the first place, coming off injury, and he performed. So the Manchester City did their business early. Chelsea have consistently done business quickly and quietly, and they've been performing well in the Club World Cup as well. This is not even reason why I brought these teams up. Real Madrid have already done their business, and you got teams like Bayern Munich, the Barcelonas, the Arsenals, the Tottenhams. I don't know if they should be even chief in this conversation, that are still shopping. But, of course, I should have said Liverpool have already done their business in the window. But exciting for Arsenal because we're looking at players that can dynamically change the outcome of the season. I think depth has been a reason why the last 3 seasons, Arsenal have finished second. I think if we had more depth, especially this past season, Liverpool would have been in for more trouble. But replacing Saka with the likes of youngsters that are still working on their craft wasn't going to work. So if you're talking about bringing a guy like Eberezer Eze and Noni Madueke, those are proven veterans from cup winners, trophy winners both this past season. Chelsea winning the Conference League for the Europe in Nations League format, and of course Crystal Palace winning their first trophy in like 100 years or maybe ever, as Eberezer Eze being the catalyst for that for that team's success. And Crystal Palace, I know, have lost players in the previous of maybe holding on a little bit too long, like Saha, when they maybe should have sold, and players themselves knowing that they should have made the move maybe a year or two earlier. And I think that's why Eze is interested in making the move to Arsenal from Crystal Palace if the numbers are right and things are good for him when it comes to the payment to Crystal Palace, because that's a team he's passionate about still. So these teams want to make players want to make the moves to these teams, and these clubs are wanting these players. Of course, Arsenal hasn't won a championship in over 20 years. They've been trophyless in 4+ years, even with a new manager, and even though they're doing big things, advancing to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, finishing second 3 times, FA Cup runs. But the depth in the squad needed to be bolstered, and this offseason they spent tons of money, hundreds of millions of dollars to make that happen. And they're continuing to shop. Like I said, Eze and Madueke are in the mix, and even Rodrigo are in the mix. And that's a different name in itself, because he's being suited, or, say he's in demand from a lot of clubs, clubs that are willing to pay the price to bring a young and talented player like that who's out of favor for the biggest football club in the world. So it's been an off season that we like. Of course, the dozens and dozens of extra soccer games that we're getting on the international scene, club-wise and international-wise, and then the movement for players to teams from who have fans like myself, like an Arsenal fan, have been all my life, who are excited about the prospects of the 2025, 2026, European calendar, whether you're talking about Champions League, English Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, and so La Liga, so and so forth. So exciting times, and we'll wait to see what the ultimate outcome was, or is, when that time comes. We'll bring you definitely some more information when it comes to soccer, and then I got an interesting topic for you on my next episode. Definitely current affairs. We're going to delve really deep. Might be longer than we usually go. So, be ready to tune in for another one of the Immigrant Podcast. Thanks for your time today. Take it easy.